Hi, this is Eternal King bringing you another gaming video today. So recently with the announcement of Dead Rising Remake, I wanted to take a look at the last good new Dead Rising game, and that is Dead Rising 3. Dead Rising 3 is a 10-year-old game now. It's hard to believe. It initially came out for Xbox One in 2014. It was a launch title for that console. Came to PC sometime after. But again, the reason why I'm covering it is because with the launch of the Dead Rising Remake, or Dead Rising Remaster, whatever you want to call it, I was taking a look at Steam numbers, and the sales for that game have been exceptionally poor. We're looking at Steam numbers of about 3,500 concurrent players, so 3,500. In terms of a major Capcom release, that is literally nothing. Nobody is playing the Dead Rising Remake. And it makes me wonder, is maybe the problem the same thing we've been talking about on this channel the entire time, which is essentially that you need to make new games. You can't just keep remastering and remaking the same games that we've been playing for the last 20 years. So for example, if after they do the Dead Rising 1 remake, they do a Dead Rising 2 remake, and then they do a Dead Rising 3 remake, I'm not going to buy them personally. I'm not going to play them. Because I don't want to support a gaming economy that just keeps regurgitating the same stuff over and over again. I will show you the original Dead Rising 3, though, while we discuss the topic of remakes, and also discuss this game in particular and why it kind of led the downfall of the series.
I gotta find a way out of this city. We're all gonna die.
So, spoiler alert, it had a lot to do... Yeah, it had a lot to do with the psychopaths. So if you don't know, psychopaths in Dead Rising are social caricatures. They are social critiques of, extreme versions of people you might meet in real life. And the problem with Dead Rising 3 is that it kind of tipped the scales into the ridiculous, and it made the psychopaths less intimidating, also less funny, less interesting. The psychopaths were just bad in this game.
Don't know why the hell I volunteered for this. Gotta be food around here somewhere. More than that.
So here we're just getting our basics tutorial, teaching us that eating food makes us healthier.
Bust that thing down.
But yeah, 10 years since Dead Rising Remake came out. Dead Rising 3 came out. And it started to show its age a little bit. Again, this was literally launch tech for the Xbox One. So again, yeah, quite showing its age. But, again, at least it's not a remake, eh? Now, talking about the good things about Dead Rising 3, because I don't want it to be all negative and just be like, oh, the psychopaths were bad, so Dead Rising 3 is a bad game. It's a bit more of a mixed bag. Things it does really well is there's a ton of combination weapons. There was a big focus on the combination weapons this time around. And they even added combination vehicles. So if you drive two vehicles up beside one another, you can combine them together into super vehicles. And I actually like that quite a bit, And also, it's the first Dead Rising to have kind of open zones and open world. You do have a bit of a city to explore, and that's kind of nice too. For the first time ever, it wasn't like a mall or a Las Vegas strip. It was, an entire open world to explore. Alright, training wheels are off. We can play the game at normal speed now. I can't stand walking tutorials. And oh, all right, there we go. So similar to the other Dead Risings, you can use guns, you can use melee weapons that you pick up off the ground, and then of course you can combine guns and melee weapons to create unique inventions. I'm a little surprised this game isn't running better than it is, given how old it is, but again, my laptop hardware leaves a little to be desired, and it might just be poorly optimized. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Why is Dead Rising Remake not selling? Again, it's an excellent video game, right? So if you haven't played it, like I fully encourage you to do so. Play Dead Rising 1, 2, and 3. They're all worth playing, in my opinion. But it seems like maybe remake fatigue and remaster fatigue is starting to set in. And I can't blame people for that either. How many of these games that you've already played are worth full asking price? You bought Dead Rising Remake for sure, because Dead Rising Remake actually did some new stuff and was worth your time. You might have even bought Resident Evil 4 Remake because they added in like knife parries and stuff. Yeah, so they added in knife parries and things like that, so you might have even played Resident Evil 4 Remake. I didn't personally pick up that one because, again, it was just like, I've already played it. I love RE4 and I know it by heart, so like the remake wasn't worth buying for me. But for a lot of people, they were happy to play it again. And this game runs like crap considering it's 10 years old. So that's the other thing, is I think even at the time there was like frame stutters and stuff with the original Xbox One release, which you don't want to see in a 10-year-old game, right? Like it should run properly. Now, talking about the intro, because we do like to examine intros, it's really nothing special, and in fact, I want to skip the intro just to like play the game, because the thing with Dead Rising is that it is a game that is fun to play, not a game that is fun to watch. So the point of this tutorial is to make you feel weak when it comes to the hordes of zombies. I would argue that it does an acceptable job of doing that. Later on, you'll just be like chopping through hordes of zombies and it won't matter, but right now it feels like the zombies are a threat, which is nice. I kind of wish the game would maintain that tone the whole way. So of course, a big part of the game is that you can just pick up random junk and hit zombies with it, right? That's always been a big part of the game. In this tutorial, we're mostly just car hopping, trying to stay away from the hordes. And of course, one of the things that Dead Rising 3 was really renowned for at the time is it really upped the zombie count. Like, you can have like 1,000 zombies on screen at the same time, and yeah, it chugs, but like, it's still impressive to this day in terms of just like pure model count. There isn't a lot that compares to that. Yeah, that intro runs like crap. Alright, save space. Game saved. You save the bathrooms, you eat food off the ground, you hit zombies with random weapons that you find. That is Dead Rising in a nutshell. That is definitely Dead Rising in a nutshell. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? I'm curious to think, like, why is nobody playing the Dead Rising remake? And what are your personal experiences with the Dead Rising franchise? Did you play Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2 on the original 360? Did you play Dead Rising 3 on the Xbox One? Yeah, I am interested to know. So right now the game is tutorializing the combination weapons, which is like a big feature of this title. Use right button to combine weapons. So we're going to combine the weapons into a sledge saw.
Okay, everyone, we gotta leave through the back door. There's gotta be less zombies back there.
You know, I honestly do enjoy the franchise. Like, even just doing this is just, like, easy and fun. I really wish that a 10-year-old game didn't stutter and run like crap, but it is what it is. Okay, so it is a simple light-heavy attack system, right? So you use the light button and you get sledgehammer attacks, you do heavy attacks, you get the cement saw attacks. Very simple introductory tutorial combo weapon for the system we're going to be seeing for the rest of the game. But again, you know, if I was to order the franchise in terms of my favorites, it would be Dead Rising 1, then Dead Rising 2, and then Dead Rising 3. But Dead Rising 3 is the newest of the franchise that is, you know, decent, right? I would love to get in the car if I knew how the buttons worked. Okay, it's B to interact. Alright guys. I'll hop in the station wagon. Still got to do the escort quests, but look at that model count. Like, that model count is impressive, even 10 years on. And the amusing thing is that in terms of Dead Rising Remake will not have the model count that Dead Rising 3 does, a 10-year-old game. So yeah, Dead Rising 3 was the first game in the franchise to essentially have a town full of zombies, and it allowed it to have a massive model count by comparison. Now I'm sure if you looked close, a lot of the models would be duplicates, but it's still impressive. So yeah, again, you know on this channel that I am more interested in games that are new conceptually, but not new graphically, right? So again, I don't care about remakes at all. Okay. I'm curious if this is even worth trying to save this guy. Alright, we did it. But yeah, I don't think that you should be playing Dead Rising Remake over Dead Rising 3, if I'm being honest. I don't think there's a lot of reasons to be doing that. Yeah, I personally don't think there's a lot of reasons to be playing remakes over games that at least try to be a little different.
I owe you my life.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys agree with me what your position is on remakes, but I do think remakes need to be remasters. They need to offer material of substance and value. They can't just be the exact same game that we got, 20 years ago, right? Dead Rising 1 is like a 20-year-old game. Dead Rising 3 is like a 10-year-old game. These are old games. And so, for example, I would be slightly more interested in like a Dead Rising 3 remake that changed up the psychopaths, gave us, a town of this size to play around in, and also looked better, right, and ran better, was better optimized. And so, that might just be, Dead Rising 5 or whatever one we're on right now. But yeah, frankly, that would be of more interest to me personally. High model count, an open world to play around in, combination weapons, good psychopaths, combination vehicles. That would mean more to me personally than again, just like remaking all the old games I've already played. I know Dead Rising 1 like off by heart. I know Dead Rising 2 off by heart. I do not need remakes of those games at all. I simply do not. Now I can show off some of the other features in the game. You have things like food recipes, so you can blend different kinds of food together for different effects. This is something that's existed since Dead Rising 1. The only difference here is that you can actually see the blueprints and the recipes for different things that you want, which is nice. Vehicle blueprints. So again, these are the combination vehicles that we talked about. You can basically take two vehicles and duct tape them together and get a super apocalypse vehicle. Very fun. Weapon blueprints. Pretty straightforward in terms of combining items together to get different effects. Some of them are like super guns, like assault rifle plus shotgun. Some of them are really goofy things, like a remote control helicopter that can shoot things. Obviously different types of melee weapons, different types of bombs. All of these things existed in Dead Rising 3, and was like the part of the game that I really liked was simply the diversity of things available. So also you have this RPG system. So again, I played through the game in its entirety, and I'm only level 30. So again, there was some replayability there in terms of things that you might want to mess around with. So with 2 points, we can see what we can get. Not much, honestly. Most of this stuff is 3 points, I think. You can also look at all the super skills. So if you don't know, in Dead Rising, you get a lot of, melee skills that unlock as you level up. So, dodge rolls, sprinting, curb stomps, kicks, punches, WWE wrestling moves. You kind of get all that stuff pretty easily. So yeah, I would say that mechanically, in terms of the game and the way that all the different features work together, I would say that Dead Rising 3 is an okay game. And just for fun, I'm going to show you the combination vehicle, and then we'll probably leave it there. See if I can still remember how to do it. It's possible that it'll force me to go through a mandatory tutorial before I'm allowed to combine vehicles. Oh yeah, because it's saying I have to explore the shop while Rhonda's doing her thing, so it's not going to let me do anything while I'm waiting for her. But yeah, what are your thoughts? There's basically only 3 Dead Rising games in my mind, and that is Dead Rising 1, Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 3. They are starting to remake these titles, and, you know, I personally feel like new IP, new ideas, these things are more valuable than just remaking the same old games. Because, like, eventually they'll get to a Dead Rising 3 remake, and I'll just be like, well, I'd rather just combine all the elements from the 3 games that I like into something new. I want the open world of Dead Rising 3. I want the, you know, good psychopaths of Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2. And then I like all of these, you know, combo weapons and combo vehicles that you get in Dead Rising 3 as well. So, you know, Dead Rising 3 was close to being the perfect Dead Rising game if it wasn't for the psychopaths being really weak. And also Nick just kind of being something of a blank slate compared to the previous 2 protagonists. But yeah, don't just keep, you know, message to Capcom, don't just keep remaking the same junk we've been playing forever. I have played Dead Rising 1 to death, I played Dead Rising 2 to death. Dead Rising 3 I played the least of the bunch, and I'm actually kind of feeling encouraged to go back and play through it more now on my own. Just because it's like, well, yeah, the model count is higher. The world is bigger. It is definitely more of a current gen game than Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2 were, regardless of, you know, visual remasters. Like, again, we're just talking textures and lighting. That's all a remaster is. I don't need to pay $70 for textures and lighting. I will pay $70 for a good new Dead Rising game. This is Eternal King, signing out.